Well, there we have it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Circus of Safety videocast, where Andy, Des, and myself try to help you navigate your way through the maze, the circus that we refer to as safety. Andy, how are you today, mate?
Good, good. Yep. Early night last night, getting ready, getting in the zone for today.
We're just talking about that. How you have no social life, but and we're gonna have to take you offline for a performance review. I think not doing your fair share for the team. Des, what about yourself, mate? How you getting on?
I'm good. I had a late night last night. I was at the Auckland Business Awards and it was awesome. It was pumping.
Wow, fantastic, Des. Really appreciate that you are taking yourself above and beyond here for the Circus of Safety. You're putting yourself out there. You're getting
It's
out and
true.
about.
It's true.
I'm wondering if you could maybe wrap up and settle up alongside our mate there, Andy, and give him some guidance around, how to get out there in the big wide world.
You just got to stop being so socially awkward. I think that's a starting point, really, for anyone.
Well,
Thanks. Yourself, Brenton, what you been up to?
well, like Des, I had a late night last night too. I was out entertaining clients at the Auckland Breakers game. Unfortunately,
Nice.
though, I seem to be their hoodoo. Every time I go to a Breakers game in Auckland, they lose. So not great. But I think the important takeaway is, again, like Des, I'm not being socially awkward. I'm getting out there. I'm putting myself out into it. So yeah, Andy, I really feel you've got to lift your game, mate. But that's okay. We'll it's not about you, and this is not an intervention. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Hey guys, listen, it's been a week since we last caught up. We had our special show last week on Whakaari White Island and WorkSafe New Zealand. And listen, I'm going to say, I don't know if you've had multiple hundreds of messages flooding your LinkedIn inbox, but feedback on that was pretty positive. I thought there's a lot more still to cover, which I think we acknowledge, but yeah, some really good feedback on that. And in fact, I'm just going to share with you some feedback from one of our viewers at the time. This is Cherie Camilleri. Her comment that she put out there was great starting point of this topic. Helpful as I deliver a due diligence workshop tomorrow. So there we go. We're being used as training material. Maybe we could send her a bill. I'm also EOTC and adventure tourism. So yes, keep the tree climbing and kayaking, Andy. Stop being such a pessimist. And at times, I'm pessimistic about state of HNS and our future. Been in this game since the early 90s and progressing very slowly. And I think that's probably the sentiment from a number of people out there. So big shout out to Cherie. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully she's watching today. So listen, Des, just before we get carried away, could you please lead us in our disclaimer, mate?
Certainly. And last fortnight's topic, I should say, was wellness. And I've since reflected on that and thought, well, why can't disclaimers be a source of wellness also? And it seems to me like a logical progression, disclaiming differently. So I thought we could do a disclaimer in the form of a guided meditation. So for this, I ask you all to move to a comfortable position and breathe. For those of you following our yoga program, I will nominate some suggested poses. Please assume the indignant giraffe pose now. Breathe in. Focus on the information we will cover today. Breathe out. Notice that information is for general purposes only. For the yogis, we're going to move to the despondent donkey pose. Continue breathing deeply. Breathe in and hold. Then shift your focus to your specific circumstances. Breathe out. 2, 3. We're just going to hold that focus without judgment and notice you need specialist advice for your specific circumstances. Yogis, now assume the dispassionate seahorse pose. Breathe in. 2, 3. 2, 3. Open your eyes and embrace your day with positive energy.
Well, thanks, Des. I feel considerably calmer and
Me too.
ready to attack my day. Mate, Andy, listen, now that we've got the disclaimer out of the way and we're all, I guess, zen-like, any words of wisdom from the training space this week, mate?
Well, not so much the training space. I've been a little bit obsessed this week with an idea that was floated in our last session, which was the Circus of Safety dictionary.
Ooh,
And
yes, I forgot about that.
It was a bit of a throwaway comment, I guess, but then someone laid down the challenge. I think it was Matthew Sidegrove down in Dunedin that laid down the challenge and said, "Good luck with that. That's going to be a challenge." And I'm like, okay, so let's give that a go. So what I'm proposing, well, I've done a bit of research this week, and one of the things that I found interesting is that in English, a dictionary doesn't define the words, but it reflects the usage of the words.
Wow.
Which
That's
is interesting,
powerful.
right?
Yeah.
In French, it's different. In French, they have a thing called an academy, and this academic academy decide what the definition is, and then that's what that word means. So the decision that we need to make really is if we're going to do this dictionary, whether we do it in English or in French. And I'd just like to throw that out there. Any comments? We could have a bit of a vote on it. And
Yes.
Once we've decided on that, then we can start to move forward and develop the Circus of Safety. Or would it be Le Cirque de Safety? And get this project underway.
Yeah, fantastic, Andy. Listen, thanks again for your insightful words, which again might explain why you don't have a social life. But listen, I just want to start the show with a bit of positivity. We've got a guest tuning in, Complete Safety Solutions, safety software. Apparently, really liked your guided meditation, Des. So great effort, mate. Well done. Namaste.
Very humble, very positive.
Here we go. And long-time friend of the show, avid poster, Veronica, posting for French. So yes, to those new viewers, if this is your first time on the Circus of Safety podcast or videocast, welcome to the show. Feel free to make comments in the chats below us on our LinkedIn page, and we can see this coming up live. Because we are very nervous about you and we don't necessarily trust what you've got to say, we don't make the chat publicly available on the podcast, but you can see it below afterwards, and we got the opportunity to delete them if we don't like them. So listen, let's get onto it, team. Let's not muck around. We don't have a lot of time left. We've already chewed up 8 minutes of our sort of 45-minute show. So as always, let's go to the spinning wheel of death. And I don't know about you boys, but I'm quite excited. We've done some updates. We've done some modifications. And are we ready for the spin?
Yep.
Here we go. I say this with trepidation. There we go. AI in safety. Now, I'm a little bit nervous with this one because I know Des and I have have had a conversation about this very topic, and my comments were to Des, "Don't worry, mate, I can carry us." Now I seem to have stage fright. God damn it! Okay, rule. So
No comment.
Don't quite know how this is going to roll. So, Des, listen, over to you, mate. One word, your thoughts on the topic, AI in safety.
One word, tool. It's just a tool.
Just a tool. You're referring to me or the AI?
Yes.
There we go. Yes, this can definitely dig a hole. That's for sure. Andy, when you your initial shock when you saw the words AI and safety pop up on the spinning wheel of death there, considering all the other topics that we've got to talk about, this one turned up. I mean, it had to turn up eventually, right? What are your initial thoughts on it?
I don't understand it.
That's going to make the next question very difficult. You guys, honestly, like, I'm really struggling here with the help that I've got. Just a little bit of support would not go would not go astray.
I might be able to help you there, Brenton. So the OHS Professional magazine
Wow.
publication,
Yes.
the latest edition of that, which arrived on my desk, I think 2 days ago, had an article on how can artificial intelligence advance the cause of OHS.
Well, hey Des, maybe for this show we could
Read
just
that out.
we could go through and you could just read us the article, mate.
Just read it out. Yeah, nice.
Would you like some guideful meditation music in the background? Okay. Well,
I did read the article and I did highlight some points, so that could be a starting point for our discussion.
well, great. Listen, I got to be honest. We've often spoken about our different personality types. I come in hot. I don't prepare nothing, and hopefully wing it on a woman of prayer. And Andy gets distracted by the detail, and great to see you doing the work there, Des. So here we go. Andy, I'm going to jump back up to you, considering you kind of railroaded my last question. But listen, I need you to kind of think about it, and I just, in your own words, what is your understanding of AI and safety? I mean, if you don't understand it, I guess, what about it that you don't understand? I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts? What is your understanding of it?
I guess is it in terms of artificial intelligence? Are we talking about things like ChatGPT, or are we talking about something that's passed is it the Turing test? I mean, I guess that's where I would be. Is it? Because my understanding that ChatGPT is really just an amalgamation of a whole heap of web searches that's then, rather than put into a list, it's put into whatever form you want it to be.
Yep.
Now, whether that's really artificial intelligence or not, I'm not sure.
Yep.
Well, if we're talking about things like ChatGPT, and I'm sure there are other ones available, then I would possibly agree with Des and say it's at this stage it's a tool. But moving forwards, it may be something more than that.
Well, I guess that's I mean, while I don't do a lot of research, I don't really study. I watch a lot of movies, and I've seen a lot of movies where AI take over the world. So I don't necessarily disagree with you that one day it could be more. So yeah, obviously quite possibly quite concerning. And I mean, maybe, I don't know, is that why people possibly are worried about it or nervous about it? I mean, Des, you've clearly read an article on this stuff. You're clearly our show's expert on AI in safety. I mean, what is your understanding of it after reading that article and no doubt doing some research?
It's opened my eyes to different ways of applying AI technology, and some of the things that they listed off was employee recruitment, role design, task allocation, time management, communication, and reward for job performance, and all of those things present different types of complications. For instance, using an AI system to filter candidates for a new role might accidentally filter someone out on a discriminatory basis and cause legal problems for you. And so if you're using any sort of technology, including AI, to filter out candidates for a role, you really need to understand the mechanisms of how that software or AI is arriving at that decision. And so it doesn't absolve anyone of any sort of responsibility in that sense. It's a tool, but it's still up to a human to make the decision and make sure that the tool's functioning correctly.
So I'll just put it out to you there. I think I've picked up on something there in that little conversation or piece you just brought up. But so are we suggesting that, I guess, depending on how we set it up, AI could actually still have human bias, really? I guess we often consider ourselves that, it's AI, it's not biased. But if it's programmed incorrectly, or the magic behind it, if you will, is used in a way that, not necessarily intentionally, but it could create bias.
Yeah, it'd be sort of accidental. You could tell it to filter for any one particular type of qualification, for instance, but if that qualification only came in 2010, you might have some sort of bias against age on that basis. So there's a risk there.
Wow, that's that's fascinating, and I guess not a lot of people think about it that way. And I think where you're going with that as well is people probably often uh, remove themselves from the process because I guess they feel they're using some kind of higher, I don't know, higher being, higher level of intelligence to make these decisions. But really, behind that decision making process is people, right? Programming it.
Yeah, and it might not be as objective as what we think.
Wow, cool. Um, I guess when I'm reflecting on AI and safety, and and again, this is maybe where the Circus of Safety dictionary or academy could come into help with it. I guess I never really thought about what is it. I mean, let's be fair. Uh, I'm a marketer's dream, right? I hear a term, I hear like some fancy buzzword, and I'm all over it, right? I'm throwing it in every conversation. AI this, AI that, and I probably got to be fair. I don't know if I necessarily fully actually appreciate what it actually is. I guess my main understanding and my main uh, examples of how I've been using artificial intelligence. Not that we would use it on this show. This show is 100% human, right? Um,
We wouldn't use it for social media posts.
Not at all.
We wouldn't use it
There's
for
that.
disclaimers. Nothing like that.
Well, listen. I guess I can't deny or confirm that, but what I can tell you is we're real. The
Mm.
three of us right here, right now, are real. Um, And I mean, the people who know us will understand that our sense of humor is such that the stuff that we produce is purely 110% our own. I mean, yeah. So anyway, as we move on, but I guess my only real understanding of artificial intelligence is what I've seen and experienced using ChatGPT. So probably quite a narrow understanding of what it is, and yeah, but I personally, I'm quite excited by it. I think there's a lot of opportunity uh, for it. So, Des, bouncing back down to you, mate. I mean, so with what you've read that article. I know there was a bit of trepidation. I'm
Trepidation.
trying to a trepidation. Thank you. I'm trying to use big words and clearly fumbling at every hurdle here, but. I mean, you were quite nervous about the topic coming up on the wheel because of your lack of understanding. But so clearly you've gone out and done some research around it to try and understand it a bit more, knowing that at any point it could come up on the wheel as it has today. But bearing with that in mind, I mean, do you feel that AI has a place in Safetyville? And I guess if so, if you do feel or you don't, if you do feel it has a place in Safetyville, really interested to understand what you think that place might be. And if you don't feel it has a place in Safetyville, really interested to understand your thoughts as to why.
Well, with my suggestion that it should be viewed as a tool, I mean that you're kind of asking me, does Microsoft Word have a place in safety? I don't see it as being any different to that. And so if the tool's available to you and you can use it, why not? But again, it doesn't absolve you from making a decision or being responsible for your actions. But there is a loose definition that I'm aware of, which might help guide the discussion, and that is that there's general artificial intelligence, which is basically something that would pass the Turing test and be able to make any sort of decisions and hold a conversation as any human could. And the other one is like a specific artificial intelligence, which is sort of like your chess master app. It's really good at beating the game at chess, but it can't do anything sort of generally. It can't do anything else. And I think ChatGPT is kind of the first step from specific artificial intelligence to general artificial intelligence. It's not specific to writing essays or any other particular thing. It's able to respond to inputs like specific AI cannot.
Yeah, and interesting. And I've noticed, again, there's a number of tools that I use, and everyone's starting to use that sort of AI functionality, right, to try and help do things. But it was interesting. You mentioned that general stuff. I've noticed. I don't really use it a lot, but I've got the app Snapchat, right, and really interestingly, Snapchat introduced this AI bot where you can have a conversation with it. So, Andy, this could be a good step for you in terms of moving out of that socially awkward phase where you don't necessarily need to talk to real people, mate. You can start talking to this AI bot and it will respond to you, apparently in a manner that is quite lifelike. So, Andy, you're often the one setting homework for Des or myself here. I'm actually going to throw you some homework, mate. I need you to sign up to Snapchat. I need you to find the chatbot in Snapchat, and I'd like you to spend over the week have a couple of conversations with it and just see how you go. And I'm really interested to get your feedback over the next fortnight around your thoughts on that Snap and how you engaged with AI, because it's quite. I guess fascinating how we're moving down that road, right? And trying to replace humans with AI responses, which could be quite interesting. Any further thoughts from you, Des, before we move on to Andy?
Yeah, so the article talked about one of the applications of AI that looked pretty cool, and it was road workers
Yes.
that were working beside the road. They'd have a camera set up. I think it was about 800 meters or so to view oncoming traffic, and basically the AI system would look at a car oncoming and alert the drivers to the fact that they might have 20 seconds to get out of the way, or deal with the fact that there's a car on the way. And they said that that's a potential use of AI that we didn't have before, which is, I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, so just a little bit of wow. I don't know where to go with this, but I'm just going to put it out there. My worry with something like that, though, Des, yes, I agree, it's pretty cool, but my worry about that is, are we taking away then people's ability to think? And if we're taking away people's ability to think because we're not requiring them to think anymore, like it's anything, right? The more you do it, the more often you do it, the easier something becomes, the more you become familiar with doing things. If we start relying on like AI, what's going to be the result? Well, I got knocked over. Well, because the AI didn't tell me that there was a car coming. I mean, that can be quite a scary thought, really.
Yeah, it would be disappointing to get to that point. I think if you've got some sort of an alert system, I mean, it's no different to staying in a burning building while the emergency alarm fails to go off. It's kind of like,
yeah, and I guess, and that's my worry with this. I mean, I spent 2 years as a full time firefighter in Papakura, and I'll never forget this one time. One of the first jobs I went to was an alarm at a shopping mall in Papakura, and we all turned up full gear, face masks on, breathing apparatus going, walking in, alarms blaring, and everyone was just still sat there. I'll never forget it. I looked up and there were people in the gym still just using the bloody rowing machine. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess my wonder is, will this dumb the human race? Will we make ourselves stupider if we implement it too much? But no, some interesting thoughts though there, Des. Thanks for doing the research.
Should we hear from
Andy?
Andy?
Yeah, do you feel AI has a place in safety? And if so, what is that place? And I guess if not, I'd love to understand why not.
I think it will. It absolutely will do, and probably has done. Where I'm interested in is becomes the ownership of it. That's what really interests me. And you sort of touched on it a little bit there. If as a consultant I use AI to generate some safety documentation for a client, do I own it? Who owns it? That's what I find quite interesting. I don't know if you know anything about this. There's about
he's the intelligent lawyer one.
Who owns stuff? Because I mean, one of the things that I've quite liked, where I'm from in Middlesbrough, the northeast of England, there's quite a famous bridge called the Transporter Bridge, and it's very industrial. But I've always wanted an artwork of it that's done in the style of Monet, and apparently AI can do this sort of thing. But then, would Monet own it? I mean, I guess that's where I'm heading. Is who owns it and where does it come from?
Wow, getting pretty deep here. I think what it was
I'm ready to answer.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
okay. Sorry. Wow. Okay. Sorry. This. I was just thinking. This must the deepness of this conversation must be something to do with that meditation disclaimer at the start. So, Des, take it away. Answer away, mate.
So copyright typically has a 50-year lifespan after the death, or if we're talking about a company, the termination of the company. So that's why a lot of people register copyright with an organization, because an organization can effectively last in perpetuity. So Monet, as a human individual, would not own that. But if Monet had a company that was now owned by his descendants or something like that, then they potentially could own the copyright. But it gets tricky because all art borrows from other art, and it's all influenced by other art. And the same could be said for music and disclaimers and other things like that. It's people. Is that a question, Brent?
Yeah. So, are you suggesting that what we're doing here on this show is not original? I'm just want to get some clarity on that.
I'm suggesting that potentially nothing in human history has been original. It's all been borrowed from something else. The ideas have come from somewhere.
Wow.
That's. I thought the spinning wheel of death was an original concept, but clearly.
So back in 2000, I think it was about 2008, 2007. My favorite subject at law school was intellectual property, and I actually did a paper on AI and who would own the copyright from an AI published piece of material. Is it the person that prompted it? Is it the person that built the software, or is it the AI itself?
Wow.
I didn't have an answer at that time, so I don't know if the law's
Good
changed
paper.
since then. But it's an interesting question. Someone's got to own it.
Yeah, absolutely. And do we know
do
who
they?
though?
Do they? I mean, do they really? I mean, like, I don't want to take this too far, but think about the sky outside, mate. Who owns that? No one. Arguably. So does everything need to be owned? Could it not just be a shared collective where we could all sit around a tree and sing Kumbaya or something?
So I think it's up to a point of about 20 or 30 or so meters above the height of the land that you own is the height of the sky, the atmosphere that you own.
Here we go.
And then after that, it's airspace controlled by the country that you live in.
Put it away,
keep them coming, mate. I've got all day.
You might have all day, but our people listening don't.
So,
In fact,
do we know? Do we have an answer then? So, if
No.
I engage ChatGPT to write a health and safety risk assessment or whatever, who owns it?
I don't think there's a clear answer.
Wow.
I think it would be you in the absence of anything else.
Okay.
Because all ChatGPT is, it's like saying, if you paint a picture, does the person who created the brush own the picture? No, you've taken the brush and you've applied it to the picture and created something. You're the prompter. You're the one with the creative thought. We're probably way outside the scope of safety now. This is
that's why, it is a fascinating thing though, and that's why I suggested one of the new topics I put on the spinning wheel of death and was hoping would come up is maybe we should just abolish health and safety altogether. I'm going to leave that comment there, but before I go on about my thoughts, we've got a few comments coming in. Murray Ritchie, he's holding out for synthetic intelligence. Now that sounds like another movie that I've watched, but that's quite exciting. Maybe he says we've already have the artificial knowledge. Why not step out of the regulatory checkbox? And he's suggesting that potentially maybe there's some money involved there, and there's a bit of an issue or concern around due diligence. So some great thoughts there, Murray. Any links or articles to synthetic intelligence, mate, to help us learn a bit more? I'll get Des reading it. That'd be great, and he can let us know in a summary what it's all about. Oh, and it's great to see. Hey, Crystal, mate of mine from way back when. She's tuning in from Portugal. So we've
Woohoo.
truly gone global, gentlemen. Truly gone global. I'll send you that wire transfer later, Crystal. So listen, I guess to wrap up this question, I personally think it's got a place in Safetyville. I think it's going to become more and more, and I would like to think that eventually we're going to get to the point where and hold on to your socks here, people. We're not going to do ourselves out of a job. So I think anyone going, oh, AI is going to do us out of a safety job. Let's be fair. I mean, safety is so bloody boring. Not even AI would want to do it, right? But look, I imagine getting to the point where we can, and probably there's probably some computer software out there already at this point where we can almost start to predict what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that's going to save the world, and I'm not saying that's going to help us achieve the ultimate goal of zero harm. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. But I think it'll be really cool to help us understand where to put our time, effort, and energy, and what that will hopefully be able to do is use those algorithms to understand what's going on and how things are happening, and be really awesome to then focus our time, energy, and effort on that. And I guess the trap with that though is if we're relying on that to tell us where to put our time, effort, and energy, is that we miss those other things. So needs to be used in caution. The other thing that I use it for, and I'm not going to lie here, I use it to start things. So again, I think Des has touched on this. A little bit. We've got to remember that there's no, you can't just say, oh, well, AI did it. But to I always find it really hard to start a document. If someone says, oh, can you create some policy on some kind of hogwash or something? I'll go straight to ChatGPT and I'm like, write me a policy on this, right? And what it does is it creates some really good bones, some really good points to think about. I then throw that into Grammarly, and it uses Grammarly AI to then word it in a way that is logical and makes sense and is easy to read, and then I publish it. So I generally find I filter through two forms of AI before I release anything, and two lots of protection is better than none, I guess is what I'm saying. So I definitely think it's got a place, and quite excited to see where it goes. I don't believe people should be afraid of it. I think there's a little bit of that. I think people are worried that it's gonna take our jobs away, which is, I don't think that's going to be the case. I still think we're going to need that human interaction with it in order to understand it and interpret it, and actually implement the potential outcomes of whatever it produces. And again, well, it's not only Crystal tuning in, but we've got another friend of mine, Dee, tuning in, which is quite exciting. And Crystal's talking about the fact that AI could be considered a shared collective, which is, I think, holistically, is quite a cool thought. Does something have to be owned by an individual, I guess, is my thought, and I guess that's the worry, right? And people have this worry about, oh, who owns it? And I know in safety we're trying to break down those barriers. I mean, let's be fair, you and I are technically working for opposition companies, right? We both work for construction companies in Auckland. Arguably, we shouldn't be talking to each other, but what we believe is that the collective knowledge around keeping people safe is far more important, and we need to share learnings and knowledge, and I'd like to think that AI would potentially help us with that as well. So really exciting. So Andy, back to you, mate. Do you see any pros with AI? And I mean,
it appears to save a lot of time.
Yes,
it appears to save a lot of time, and I think it's like everything, though. It's based on data, right? So the more data and the better data that you've got, then the better outcomes you've got. But also how you ask it questions. The better questions you ask, the better outcomes you get. But then that still brings in that whole human bias thing, because you could very easily program it to suit what you want the outcome to be.
Like, write this in a circus style format, potentially,
Absolutely.
which may produce some great LinkedIn posts, as an example, in the terminology of a circus performance.
Absolutely. So I think it's a useful tool. It's just going to develop. I think it's going to develop very, very quickly, and I guess you've got to sort of embrace it, or you'll become an old fossil.
And I guess this goes back to what we were talking about on one of the earlier shows, right, Andy, around the role of a health and safety professional, and what we've got to know, and there were some concerns around the breadth of knowledge that we have. So now suddenly we're potentially adding to that list of stuff that health and safety professionals need to know, and that's AI technology or software, which is a whole nother conversation. Des, your thoughts, mate? Any pros that you can see to the use of AI in safety?
Yeah, definitely. Like if it makes, I said in a previous episode that a lot of our role is research, writing, and then conveying a message and making it engaging. And if AI can definitely help with those things. It can help you research. It can help you compile a message. It can help you adjust that message to suit your audience. I think it's an excellent tool. But there's heaps of other applications. I mean, we're just talking about text, but the video thing, I've come across ideas of video monitoring of truck drivers to see if they're having sort of micro sleeps or they're blinking for too long, to see if they're about to nod off. And that's pretty cool. It can just send an alert. But then there's the flip side of that is, are we over monitoring people? Are we breaching their privacy in that sense? And on that note, the Centre for Work Health and Safety in New South Wales completed a report in 2021 on the ethical use of artificial intelligence in the workplace. So they cover lots of different aspects, but it comes with a WHS slant. And there's you're meditating again now.
Sorry. Can you just give us the summary, dudes? We're running out of time, mate.
They released an AI WHS scorecard and a report, and it's worth taking a look.
You're not going to give us a summary. Like, can you give us a pictogram?
No, because I haven't read it.
Okay. Some homework for you then, Des. No, great. Listen, I've got to be fair. I'm a big fan of AI, in particular ChatGPT. In fact, it makes me look amazing. The amount of work I can now produce is phenomenal. I definitely get some time saving if it's there. But again, that leads us into the next thing around the traps, right? And we've got to be mindful. Things still need to be viewed, and we still need to take ownership of whatever we're producing, utilizing said tools. So yes, while it might be able to help us achieve more and be more efficient and get more done, there is that trap of it being inaccurate. There is the trap of it being, not what we want it to be. So we just got to be really, really mindful of that. I think the pros for me far outweigh the cons. I mean, Des, back to you, buddy. Any thoughts around the cons in relation to using AI?
I think I would need to understand it a bit more. But the cons are it's the same list of cons that you would have for any other tool. If we're talking about monitoring the workplace and getting AI to interpret it, then you've got privacy considerations and other ethical considerations, and then you've got data problems with that. And that's the same with any sort of video surveillance, whether it's got AI or not. I don't think there's anything particular about AI that is a con in that sense.
No, cool. No, great. Hey, just a quick question, slightly off topic, mate. I mean, what are your thoughts? If people take your, if people are using information they're gathering on you to study you, I mean, what are your thoughts on that as an individual person?
Are you asking
me
or Andy?
No, you did. Sorry, you did.
Oh,
the conversation was focused on you there for a minute.
I think just so long as I know about it and I've agreed to it, then I don't personally have a problem with it. I just want to know about it.
No, cool. Excellent. Andy, your thoughts around the cons in relation to using AI in safety?
Potentially it's going to make people, it's not going to make safety people redundant, but certainly the old school safety person like myself, unless we embrace it, we're going to be left behind. When I'm churning out one document a month and you're doing 15 an hour, it's not a good look.
Yeah, no. again, you've got a long way to go, mate. But that's okay. What you need to do is you need to find people like Des and I who are prepared to carry you, who are prepared to support you through this journey. And that helps with our diversity on the show. Yeah, great. We'll look after you, Andy. We'll take you along.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, listen, I think that the one of the cons. I mean, I've already kind of highlighted some cons, and the other con for me is if you get caught out, right? So here I am producing 15 documents an hour. You're producing one a month, and eventually people are going to work out that potentially I'm using AI to deliver my work. I guess, is that a problem if the quality is, if people are getting what they want and the quality is there? I've applied myself. I've done the research. I've understood how to use the tool. And is that what people are paying for? I don't know. It'd be an interesting conversation. Should people ever catch me out trying to use AI to do my work?
Would it be a good idea, do you think, to put a disclaimer on it to say that this work was developed with the assistance of AI?
Well, Andy, I think we've got a resident expert in disclaimers. Des, over to you. What are your thoughts around using a disclaimer if using AI to do your work?
There was a case in the United States where a law firm was taking instructions from a law firm in another state, but bringing the action in their own state. And so the law firm in the other state had sent them some material that had been generated by ChatGPT, but hadn't sort of read that themselves. And ChatGPT had its own disclaimer in there saying, this information's been generated by AI, blah blah blah. And it ended up in court. Didn't get screened by the lawyers that submitted it in court, and then they were citing cases that didn't exist. It's all sorts of dramas came about, and basically the court said that the fact that it was another firm using AI didn't absolve the responsibility of the firm submitting the documents to make sure that they were legit and accurate, and so that was malpractice. So yes, it's probably worth having a disclaimer. The best disclaimer is actually checking it yourself and making sure that it's good. But ChatGPT also puts its own disclaimers in there sometimes, as far as I know.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
No, great. So Des, just to wrap up the show, mate, your final thoughts on AI and safety?
Look, it's watch this space. I think it's going to influence a lot of the things that we do.
Yeah, great, cool. Andy, you'll wrap up for the show, mate, on the use of AI and
I'm going
safety.
to try and learn more about it between now and next show.
You've got homework, mate. Yep. And just remember, you don't need to engage with me over Snapchat. It's used to just use the tool, mate. Use the AI bot. And yeah, I guess my thoughts are, I'm quite excited by it. I think there's a lot of opportunity for it. And I mean, the reality is, let's not be naive here, right? There's always going to be people that misuse it. There's going to be people that don't use it what it was intended for. Unfortunately, unless we solve world peace, that's always going to be a problem, right? So yeah, be mindful of the traps, embrace it, don't be scared of it, and use it. And so yeah, that brings us up through to the end of this show on AI and safety. So I guess Des, really interested to get your thoughts, mate. I mean, you were nervous about this topic. We've managed to keep talking for 43 minutes. Better than you thought, right?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is there any other topics you're super confident that you're going to be able to carry the show with? Because let me know now, so I can go away and do some actual research.
Yeah, well, listen, mate, there's no secret here, mate. I come in hot every show. I don't do anything. Yeah, mate, I'd start just researching that whole spinning wheel of death, mate. On that note, though, anything? What are you looking forward to? Maybe coming up next fortnight now that AI is off the wheel.
Hopefully a few quiet weeks at work, but I think that might be too ambitious because it's all the end of year stuff is starting now, Christmas parties and winding up. So yeah, it's gonna be busy.
Oh, are we gonna have a Circus of Safety Christmas party? Just on a side note.
I think we should.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we'll take that offline. We don't want people knowing where it is or anything.
Yeah.
Andy, you mate, what do you got coming up over the next couple of weeks?
Not really sure, actually. I've been enjoying the holidays. Oh, I'm doing some training, and I'm presenting at a conference.
Fantastic, mate. That sounds exciting.
Nice.
To be fair, I don't know. Oh yes. If you are a big fan of my dulcet tones, and you want to hear more of me getting quite excitable, I'll be down in the mighty Waikato, commentating the Waikato Regional BMX Champs, which will be live streamed on YouTube. So, jump onto the BMX New Zealand YouTube channel or their Facebook page and get to watch some exciting BMXing and get to hear me commentate over the weekend. So quite excited about that. A lot going on. Hopefully a quiet week after that out there in the wild world of construction. And listen, again, something that which I know the three of us, we're constantly talking about this in the background, and without the followers that are joining our LinkedIn page, without people making comments, the show, while that wasn't our intention, the show it's greatly appreciated. It's incredibly flattering to think that people value what we're saying and are really interested in the conversations that we're having. And who would have thought when we first started having these conversations, right, that people would actually be interested in them? And just want to make a shout out to one of our followers on our Circus of Safety LinkedIn page. So make sure if you're not following that page, jump on in. We're having a steady stream of followers constantly joining. This fortnight's shout out goes to Justin Radford. Justin joins us from the Greater Perth area. So again, sticking with our international theme there, super excited. And Justin is a health and wellness coach, a nutrition and exercise specialist, and a corporate wellness advisor. So no doubt there's, I think you might know Justin, and no doubt he would have appreciated the meditation disclaimer this morning and may even use it in one of his sessions.
I do know Justin and got a lot of time for him. He's a quality operator.
Nice. Well done, Justin. And listen, mate, thanks for joining us here on the Circus of Safety. Listen, we've got some exciting news to announce. This is quite exciting. I know I am. Do we need can someone kind of give me a drum roll? Voila! I didn't quite know what to do after that. But it is with great excitement that we would like to announce the very first, and listen, hopefully not the last, although that could depend on what happens. Des, we need to work on that disclaimer for it. The very first Circus of Safety Symposium, and we are calling it the Spring Symposium. Woo! Woohoo! So what is the symposium? Well, this is a live event. This is where we're not doing it over the internet. We will be in a room. There will be people turning up. And in fact, one of the exciting things, Andy, I think before we even publicly announced it, tickets were flying hot off the shelves, and we're sold out, I believe.
No. We got. There's a few spaces. I don't know if you want to throw it out there.
No, but we chose to keep a few spaces free, but all the other tickets. Marketing 101, mate. We need to make this sound really exciting and
it was sold out within seconds.
Well, but we didn't even announce it, right? And it was sold out. Just amazing. Now, so this is a live event. This is an in-person event. We will be doing some filming there. We won't be live at the event. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe we will try to go live at the event, but we will be filming the event. The symposium will be running a very similar format to the Circus of Safety videocast. So super exciting coming up. It's going to be, that's why it's not a conference, because this is like nothing else you've seen before. This is a symposium. This is the Spring Symposium, the numero uno, the number one. Now, Des, make sure you've got it in your diary for the 24th of October. That's a Tuesday. It's just after Labour weekend. So you're coming off a high, coming off a long weekend, straight into a symposium with the Circus of Safety. I mean, how excited are you by it, Des?
I'm pretty pumped, pretty amped. Let's do it.
Nice. Now, Andy, how excited are you about the fact that this is an all-day event? I mean, wow, all day with the three of us.
Beyond excited, and there's lunch.
Well, listen, and entry is quite cheap, right? Entry is quite cheap. All people had to agree to do, and I hope you made this clear when they bought the tickets, is buy us copious amounts of drinks at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
You made that. You made people aware of that, eh?
Well, sort of.
Right. Well, so not only did they have to pay thousands of dollars for the tickets, but they've got to supply us with alcohol at the end. I mean, let's be fair. A whole day talking safety. I mean, it's going to drive anybody to drink, right? So super excited. Tuesday the 24th in Auckland. So unfortunately, for those of you outside of the greater Auckland area, it could be a bit of a challenge. But listen, if you want to fly in, by all means. Now, as Andy mentioned, special consideration has been given to the Circus of Safety listeners and viewers of this wonderful little conglomerate that we have pulled together. And that is, we have got 2 tickets that are going to be given away to our viewers. Andy, any thoughts on what we'd like these viewers to do? I mean, do they need to send us anything? Do they need to send us pictures of stuff? I mean, you're going to be signing up to Snapchat. They could send it directly through Snapchat to you. I mean, what anything we want these people doing to go on the draw to win these remaining 2 tickets to the numero uno Circus of Safety Spring Symposium in Auckland?
I guess if they just if we get people just to get in touch with us, I don't know which the best way of doing that is, through just the messages here, or
I was so excited about getting people to send you really weird
the
messages via Snapchat.
direct messages on LinkedIn, and what we can do. I just want to highlight that this is a very exclusive event. I mean, there's only going to be 16 to 18 people there, depending on which room we end up getting. So this is very, very exclusive. And if people wish to attend or are available to attend, and there's these two tickets available, then if they get in touch with us, what we can do is between now and then we'll put I'm imagining it'll be hundreds of people.
We put them on a spinning wheel. We'll make a spinning wheel of people.
Yeah, spinning wheel of people, and then we'll draw the 2 out, and then we'll let them know middle of next week that they've been successful.
Wow. Okay. So no time pressures, because the 24th of October is not too far away. We've sold out all the tickets already. We've kept a couple aside for you listeners. So we've already got one viewer putting their hand up. Complete Safety Solutions, Safety Software, no doubt would like to come. I mean, that sounds to me like a company, and they may want to sponsor a part of that. I'm not suggesting we're open to bribes, but we are. So if people want to pay copious amounts of money to join us, we will take that. But yes, messages. Put a comment in the chat below. Send Des, Andy, or myself a direct message. As you've heard, Andy will be on Snapchat later on today, so please jump on there and message him through Snapchat. But yeah, really excited, guys. Can't wait. The 3 of us in a room together again all day is just it's a moment that is just going to be beyond belief, really. So that brings us to the end of the show. So Des, it's been a pleasure. Great to see you, and catch you in a fortnight.
Thanks very much. See you then.
Andy, likewise, mate. No doubt we'll talk, but take care, look out for yourself, and happy travels.
Take care.
And see to all those that tuned in to view us, thanks very much for coming, and we'll catch you on the next one.